So this Corona thing's been going on for quite some time, huh? I don't really want to turn this video into something like a pity party for myself. I have a feeling it sort of might veer off into that direction, but there's some things I think I want to talk about, and I honestly really am not quite sure what I want to do with my YouTube channel. I have several ideas, I'll get to them later, but right now it's sort of a free-form thing where I guess I can just try out different things and see what I like about them, see if I'm happy with them being there, see if others like them. But back on this Corona thing, I've always been something of a bit, not really a shut-in, but I don't really get out much. I take classes online. I used to work a job, but now I just live off the scholarship money because I took a break from school and did the work, and I really didn't like that job, and I might take up a part-time job sometime in the future when that money starts getting dry, but I'll make sure that it's not the same. It was a call center, it wasn't fun. But as of right now, I don't really leave much, and a large part of that is due to my friends not really having that time. A lot of them that I know of still from high school are off living in the campus of the universities. I suppose not anymore, but we've lost contact over the few years it's been since graduation. My closer friend group consists of people who are not always available. Probably my best friend right now is a guy who you know him probably, Vice. He doesn't really. He's got a non-24 sleeping schedule, unfortunately because of medical reasons, I suppose, where it's kind of hard to know if he's awake, and he's a bit of a he's a very much an introvert. He doesn't really go out much himself. He'd really like to, and honestly, I'm probably the reason why. He's probably waiting for me to sort of come out of my shell in a way, but I've really recessed over the years, I suppose, and hold myself up into my home, and it's sort of my base of operations, and I'd probably like to see that change. But beyond that, I think a large problem with that is I'm just the right age where I grew up in a time where it was great. The internet was this still fairly fresh thing, and before Facebook and all that, back when MySpace was still going on, where it was just this cool thing that you did cool stuff on every now and then, and most people I knew at the time weren't absolutely hooked on it like everyone is now. And I remember having a CRT TV and playing the PS1 and the GameCube and the Wii back before I had internet. I didn't get internet until high school, actually, like halfway through that. But I'm kind of getting off topic. I was just the right age to sort of have that joy of living a life where I'm not constantly jacked in like the Matrix. But I also was just young enough, and it came to me at the right age of sorry about that, I had to kick something. Being a teenager, where it all came into me. You know, you have all the oh, yeah. I'm not as tired as I was in my upcoming video, but I'm still kind of tired. But a lot of stimulation, and it's weird going from, you know, reading books when you're bored sometimes because you want to take a break from video games, all the limited video games you have, to a magical record where you can just know anything that mankind has ever said or known or created at the click of a button. It's weird. And I got hooked. It didn't happen so easily, because I didn't have the best internet at the time, I believe. But when the further I got into high school, the more I started using Skype, I remember. And I did some dabbling in Facebook, but that's besides the point. Skype and hanging out on Skype with my friends was a good jumping off point between high school and college that kept a lot of us together. We were still hanging out regularly at each other's houses, but when I hit college, something kind of changed, I guess. Everything became more business, I suppose, and I was hitching less rides off of my parents, and of course I learned how to drive and got my own vehicle for a while before I got in a wreck. But I don't know. I don't know why I brought this up, but I guess it's just, I'm sort of talking out of my ass, and this is without a script, of course. I'm just letting things come to me, and I'm not very used to talking to myself, I suppose. So it could sound a little awkward, but yeah, this is what it is. But back on this Corona thing, I think it is getting to me a bit, but not as much as it might be getting to some other people. Sleep has been difficult to come by. Like, there's a video I'm going to be putting out soon on some video games, and I almost don't want to release it because I'm not happy with how it turned out. It's also unscripted, it's just ranting, but I think I might as well put something out and see how people react to it, just to see, out of curiosity, I suppose. I've already recorded so much for it, and recorded so much audio and gameplay, that I'd like to see how it turns out, even if I don't think it's best thing I made in my time on the internet. This Corona thing is like, it's kind of sad. You know, like I haven't really played Fire Emblem before. I've been kind of not really against it, but not into it as much as other people have been. But one of my friends really preaches it to me, and I know he's not the type to. I guess he's not, the best way to put it is he's not some jerk ass on Twitter just shoving things down people's throats. He's a good guy. And another friend is also looking to get into the series. So the idea was I would play Fire Emblem Awakening, and this other friend of mine would play Fire Emblem Awakening, and we'd start pretty much the same day and just talk about it and our own experiences with the game, and just almost as if we're playing it together, but of course the virus and distance and all that. But it's I wanted to go by GameStop for the first time in years, just to see if they had it like at a really cheap price. And like I went, I'm not really, for the record, we're not in quarantine, just we're just social distancing and keeping away. And I went there and I saw that the place isn't technically closed, but it's upon calling service, and you had to call ahead of time or something and organize stuff online, and it was just sort of a sad experience where somehow the real world that I've always known, where you just, I know this might sound silly, but the real world that's deeply rooted in my childhood before the internet and all that, you know, going to stores, going outside, doing stuff, having to interact with people, feels like that's no longer necessary in a weird way, because I can order stuff online and get it in the mail like in a couple days. And I'm probably going to do that with Fire Emblem Awakening and just buy whatever price comes along with it. I prefer physical games to digital. I like to show them on shelves. I like being able to feel the game in my hand. And having it as like something that's in a collection of mine, something that probably never will leave me, but I don't know. It's really good that we're able to do so much work and we can still be productive in a time where we're kind of sealed off. But in another way, it's kind of scary that we don't need that connection anymore and that it's now just so artificial and built up over a man-made network of isolationism. Not really isolationism, it's globalism, I suppose, is more right, but, you know, we're just all sealed away for the most part right now. But I've been upset because in about a month or so, right now it's June. No, I'm crazy. It's May 13th right now, and normally about a month from now, E3 would be showing, and I'm not gonna say anything like E3 is like the greatest game show ever, and that it's absolutely worth watching or anything like that. Normally, it's a bunch of business shills getting on stage and dancing for their companies and a lot of Just Dance. But even no matter how bad it is, Vice and I, you know, my best friend, I'd say, we get together for E3 and we just hang out. We just buy a bunch of junk food and we just make fun of it and play video games between conferences, and whenever something cool shows up, we react and we get to see each other freak out for something, or have an awkward moment where one is excited and the other thinks it looks like absolute piss. But you probably won't get that this year, and that's kind of sucks, because our E3 extravaganza, as we call it, it's really the only thing that we have to celebrate. I'm not saying that we don't celebrate things like Mother's Day or Easter or Christmas, but I think because of the way our society is, living in this society, because the way our culture is around us right now, and with all this internet stuff, it feels like things don't matter as much as they used to. And I know that's probably how it was for people 100 years ago when all this commercialization came, but Christmas feels cheap to a lot of people. I know that these days, where it's just a bunch of marketing, and I still like the festivity and buying gifts for people and all that. I actually like that, but even I admit it feels forced at times, where it's just a ploy to get people to throw money into the fire. Easter is to me nowadays, like, I as a kid, I loved searching for plastic eggs and real eggs and colorful eggs that my parents hid throughout the yard and around the house, but don't have that anymore. For nowadays, it's kind of just the day where on the night of Easter, I just go to Walmart and buy chocolate bunnies on clearance because they're like half off. And that's kind of lame. Like chocolate bunnies are cool and all, but it's kind of lame. And I'm not really religious or anything, but I know a lot of holidays are for children. Just give them something to be happy about and smile about, but I guess I wish I could smile about more stuff now. Maybe I'm getting jaded and cynical. But E3 was something where even if the show, like I said, even if the show sucked, even if nothing good was shown, we still celebrated it together, and we had all our food, and we still had all those old video games that we could play and share together. And not having that is, I don't know. And I'm not even saying we went to the conferences ourselves. We just watched them online. But it was great fun. And now we're in a place where it's like there's something like the Summer Games Fest or whatever. And Ubisoft has declared that they're gonna do their own like Nintendo Direct thing pretty much, or their own show by themselves. And by saying Nintendo Direct, I can't leave out the Nintendo Direct and how, yeah, they have a pretty big one usually every E3, but normally they're almost monthly, not really. Shows that they do themselves, and Sony had State of Play, which was just a crappier version of Nintendo Direct. And it's cool that these companies can speak out to us and give us what we want through a nice presentation throughout the year, but it feels nice when there's something to wait for, you know? And it's not like a few days before you hear, oh, we're gonna throw on a show real quick, and you get to find out maybe it's something you want or not. No, with E3 it was like every year you'd have this build-up a few months before, and it'd be like, oh, will Devil May Cry 5 actually be real? Are they gonna make a sequel to the reboot? What's going on with that? Is Devil May Cry dead? Is Scalebound dead? All that business. And Vice was always hoping for a new F-Zero, and you know, it never came, at least so far. Or like, is there gonna be a new FromSoft game shown this year? You know, it generates excitement, and you know people call it hype. And you speculate, and you get this difference between like what your ideal want that you desperately hope for deep down inside, and you're skeptical. Oh, it's probably just going to be a bunch of dancing, and Ubisoft is going to have a new Assassin's Creed. Probably won't be everyone's favorite game, but definitely not new Rayman. I really hope that gets dated and we get a nice new Rayman, but I don't know. I really hope we still hang out and get to do stuff in this crummy time, but currently we'll see. Well, I guess I brought it up earlier, so I should probably touch on it. My games that I play, I've been enjoying Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And it's fun. It's got big boobies, it's got blue sky, it's got anime protagonist, you know, it's fun. No, I'm kidding. It's alright. I've never been a fan of this MMO auto attack kind of gameplay. If I recall, Final Fantasy XII was like that, maybe, or very similar in a way. And the gameplay turned me off immediately, and I didn't even get far into that one. But I like the music and the scenery. I think the character designs are really generic, but they don't leave a bad taste in my mouth exactly. But back to what I want to do with videos on this channel. As you may or may not know, Vice and I, the friend I keep referencing, we've had 2 channels right now. One of which is Martian Knights, and we used to do Let's Plays on that. I really had fun while it lasted, but we had a lot of creative differences, and it didn't really work out for the best. We're both kind of stubborn people, and we want to see our vision come to life because we think people will really enjoy it. And since then, we made it was a situation where we were putting in so much work and there was so little payoff for all the editing and all the footage that was just eaten by Elgato. I can't tell you how many times Elgato has just deleted our gameplay footage, and we don't want to do just a second second run through, because that feels cheap and it doesn't feel genuine. At least that's how I felt about it. I feel like that first time really gets some genuine mojo and magic out of us. And in our early videos like Gunsmoke, I think that really shows where we just have a lot of fun. And there's no situation where we're trying to compete with what we've already done in terms of our content provided to a specific game. But ever since then, we moved on to a new channel called Eat Dirt. And that's supposed to be like a variety channel where we can more freely do what we want, and hence the name Eat Dirt. It's not supposed to be exactly high quality, or we can just expel out whatever quality content we want to make, and just bare minimum effort. But we edit it, and we edit in jokes, but it's not like the Let's Plays on Martian Nights where we just go nuts and we spend way too much time on it. It's something where we can just slapdash it together and say, alright, this is good. And what we've been working on is a video series on cryptids. Not in any serious light. It's mostly supposed to be taken as a joke and just entertainment, but we're still working on the first video technically, and we haven't touched it in a while. We have everything ready but the background music, and even then we kind of butt heads and are indecisive about what exactly we want in the background to listen to. Well, for people to listen to, rather. So I'm not sure where that's going to go. But as for this channel, you can see all sorts of stuff I've done. You can see my extremely funny cheeseburger rap that everyone loves and is absolutely quality, and I'm not being sarcastic right now, and I could do better. And also I have my I just have some weird stuff like Chowder Chowder or Chowder X Chowder, which is a Hunter x Hunter joke. And I don't really know what I want to do. Back on Martian Nights, we had a bit of a podcast where Vice and I would just sit down and talk. The idea was we were tired of editing stuff, but we wanted to put something out, so we just sat down and we brought some questions to each other, and we brought some topics, and we just sat and talked about stuff. And I'm thinking about making a podcast for my channel with various guests, including Vice, obviously. But I'm not sure. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to probably upload this with some gameplay footage, and then a bit later release that video I've been working on. I freaked out because I deleted some videos that were being used as source by Vegas and thought they were forever lost, but luckily I was smart enough to check their recycling bin and it automatically fixed itself, so I was about to be really upset because I had already recorded several hours of gameplay footage and I thought that just all went down the drain. But as of right now, I'm probably just gonna release that video, finish it, and see how it goes. That's about it, I guess. Take it easy. Later.